In the ancient folklore of India, there lies a legend that predates even Hinduism. The legend of a sacred and mysterious island. This paradise island, shimmering once upon a time in the middle of the Central Asian Sea, now north of the present-day Himalayan mountains, dazzled with its unparalleled beauty. On this island lived a race with superhuman abilities, entirely cut off from the outside world. No one could see them, no one could reach the island. But a network of secret underground tunnels stretching for thousands of kilometers granted them access to all corners of the world at will. This advanced civilization, masters of art and science, lived in prosperity, far from the dangers and diseases of the outer world. However, as all good things must end, an approaching catastrophe would forever alter the destiny of this community, tearing them from their island and imprisoning them in the darkness of the underground. Nowadays, access to information seems easier with the internet, but deciphering the secrets of the Agartha civilization remains a difficult task. This is because the topic is shrouded in numerous conspiracy theories and misinformation. On this journey, we will attempt to lift the veil of mystery and uncover the truths of the Agartha legend. Our first stop is a researcher who lived in 19th century France, Alexandre Saint-Yves. He's the one who introduced Agartha to the Western world. Although Alexandre Saint-Yves is a name fading into obscurity, he was a respected writer, philosopher, and occultist in his time. His deep interest in occultism, in particular, led him on a quest for esoteric knowledge. This passion for the unknown led Alexandre to learn Hebrew first, then delve into the even more ancient and enigmatic language of Sanskrit. His teacher was an Indian scholar, Prince Harji Sharif. Alexandre, who began his lessons in the library of Sorbonne University, stumbled upon the phrase Great Agartha School in a Sanskrit text he picked up by chance. He curiously asked his teacher what this school was, but Harjij, instead of giving a clear answer, preferred to continue with the lessons. As Alexandre learned Sanskrit and read more texts with his teacher, his interest in Agartha grew even more. This was because he encountered sentences in the text that said, "The elements used in Agartha rituals are only valid for initiates, sacred lands of Agartha." How could anyone leave Agartha? Finally, unable to bear it any longer, Alexandre begged his teacher to tell him more about Agartha. Harji Sharif finally broke his silence and spoke of the masters of the universe, who protected this hidden realm. These masters, being superior to humans both physically and spiritually, guarded Agartha's sacred wisdom. As the two delved deeper into the texts, they encountered strange symbols, Vatanian letters. Harjij revealed the secret of this ancient alphabet to Alexandre. They were remnants of the common language used by all of humanity before the event of the confusion of tongues in 51,900 BC. Harjij could speak and write the Vatanian language fluently. He even wrote Alexandre's name in Vatanian as a gesture, adding the note, "In response to your curiosity and desire, I leave you this small note with your name inscribed. But remember, you are not yet ready for this language, but one day you will be." Alexandre compiled his Sanskrit studies with his teacher and the stories he heard in his book, Mission of India in Europe, Mission of Europe in Asia. With this book, he introduced a forgotten ancient civilization to the Western world. According to Alexandre's accounts, Agartha was a vast network of underground cities located in the depths of the Himalayas. This underground realm, home to millions of people, was ruled by a spiritual leader named Brahmatma. Brahmatma had two assistants, Mahatma and Mahanga. The people of Agartha had preserved their knowledge, accumulated over thousands of years in massive stone libraries, and passed it down through generations. According to Alexandre, this advanced civilization had once ruled on the surface of the earth, but had been forced to retreat underground with the beginning of a dark age known as Kali Yuga. In Hindu cosmology, Kali Yuga represented a period in which humanity moved away from spirituality and immersed itself in materialism and selfishness. The inhabitants of Agartha believed that they would reappear on the day that the people on the surface find spiritual balance again. When talking about Agartha's technology, Alexandre, using the limited vocabulary of his time, used terms like underground trains, gasless burning lamps, and vehicles floating in the air. But the text contained an even more striking detail: fiber optic cables. Alexandre described a technology resembling fiber optics in the texts as flexible glass paths through which electricity moves, not made of metal. While Agartha was hidden from the people living on the surface, it closely monitored and documented their development. The physical characteristics of the Agarthans, who lived underground for thousands of years, changed over time. One of the most significant changes was their development of a double-tongued nature. This would later reappear in symbolism as well. It would be a mistake to see the book Mission of India in Europe, Mission of Europe in Asia as an ordinary work of fiction. Alexandre wrote this work in light of the information he learned from his teacher and his own research, composing every line with great care and attention. When the book was complete, Alexandre had hundreds of copies printed, ready to be distributed all over France. However, he changed his mind at the last moment, gathered all the copies, and burned them. Only the first copy that he had handwritten remained. So, how did this book make its way to the present day? Completely by chance. After Alexandre's death, his belongings passed to his stepson. His stepson didn't realize how important the book was when he found it, but he gave it to Gérard Encausse, the leader of the occult order that Alexandre had also been a member of. The book was finally published by Encausse in 1910, but it was discovered that some pages had been torn out. No one knows what was written on those pages or where they are now. Some believe that Alexandre destroyed these pages to keep the entrance points to Agartha hidden. Others think the pages were destroyed because humanity was not yet ready for this ancient knowledge. The principle of "he who knows does not speak, he who speaks does not know," often encountered in occult teachings, could explain the truth behind Alexandre's actions. Although Alexandre managed to largely protect the secret of Agartha, he incorporated what he knew into his poetry and his final work, Archaeometer, in a veiled manner. So was the idea of a superior race living underground only found in Alexandre's book? Of course not. Traces of this idea can be found in the mythologies of different cultures and even in some religions. For example, Zohar, the foundation of Jewish mysticism, emphasizes that the Garden of Eden should be sought underground, not on the surface of the earth. In fact, it is believed that the Cave of the Patriarchs, or Cave of Machpelah as it is also known, is one of the gates to this hidden realm. This cave, one of the holiest places in Judaism, is also the burial place of the prophet Abraham. In Islam, this sacred place is known as the Ibrahimi Mosque. It is narrated that the prophet Abraham gave great importance to this cave and wished to be buried there after his death. The motif of a more sacred realm within the earth frequently appears in ancient mythology. For example, the Navajo, a Native American tribe of North America, believe that their ancestors came from a land beneath the Navajo Mountains. According to Aztec belief, after the Great Flood, the 7 surviving tribes emerged from caves beneath the sacred city of Aztlan to rebuild humanity. Similar motifs are found in the mythologies of the Cherokee and Hopi tribes. Both tribes believe that life sprang anew from underground after a great disaster. The Zuni and Apache tribes also tell stories of people who lived inside the earth and emerged from there. The Apache even believe that a mysterious community still lives underground. In Iranian, Indian, Chinese, and Aztec literature, we see a common theme: a sacred center where humanity was created by the gods and where they multiplied. And in all these cultures, this center is emphasized to be inside the earth. As you can see, there are striking similarities between the mythologies of different cultures. These similarities suggest that there might be something real behind the Agartha legend. So, is the information Alexandre Saint-Yves shares in his book, Mission of India in Europe, Mission of Europe in Asia, enough to be considered real on its own? maybe not. However, similar legends from different geographies strengthen the reality of this information. The book Beasts, Men, and Gods, published in 1922 by Polish scientist Ferdynand Ossendowski, contains interesting information on this subject. The book recounts Ossendowski's journey to Asia during the Russian Revolution. The author talks about a fascinating phenomenon he witnessed while traveling through the Mongolian steppes. While crossing Mongolia from one end to the other, there was an incident I witnessed repeatedly. Suddenly, people and animals would stop, freezing in absolute silence. Animals would lower their heads and sniff the ground as if there was something under their feet. The wind would cease, and the sun would seemingly stop moving. It was as if everything had begun to wait for its fate, facing a supreme power. Ossendowski asked a shepherd in the caravan what this meant. The shepherd replied, "This is something that has always happened. The king of the world, who lives underground, is praying for the people living on the surface." Upon Ossendowski's further questioning, the shepherd shared the following about the underground. "There, invisible rulers reside. Their leader is King Brahmatma. Just as I speak with you, so can he converse with the Almighty. He has two assistants, Mahatma, who knows the future, and Mahanga, who knows the cause of events. With the books of fate, they read everything that will happen in the world, and every soul." As can be seen, legends from different geographies and cultures surprisingly coincide. In different regions of Asia, another underground realm similar to Agartha is mentioned, Shambhala. Shambhala, a subject of legends for thousands of years, is also known as the City with 1,000 Names, or the Forbidden Land. The Chinese call it Shiwang Mu's Western Paradise, while Old Russians refer to it as the Kingdom of Epona, and the Hindus call it Aryavarta. Agartha, which means impervious to violence in Vatanian, and Shambhala, which means abode of peace in Sanskrit, have similar definitions. Like Agartha, Shambhala is also believed to be hidden deep within the earth. It is a paradise-like realm covered with green valleys, inhabited by extraordinary people, free from illness and aging. It is ruled by a divine king and is completely disconnected from the outside world. Ancient texts mention that the path to Shambhala passes through the Himalayas and that its entrance is protected by a temple hidden amongst canyons. So who introduced Shambhala to the Western world? Helena Blavatsky, one of the most famous and controversial occultists of the 19th century. Helena Blavatsky, trained by Buddhist monks in Tibet in the 1870s, dedicated her life to pursuing esoteric knowledge and conducted years of research in India and China. She discussed her teachings on Shambhala in her work, The Secret Doctrine. Helena Blavatsky claimed that Shambhala was not a real place, but a mental and spiritual plane, and that it could be accessed through certain physical points. According to her, one of these points was in Tibet, and the other was in the Gobi Desert. Blavatsky referred to these regions as the Great White Brotherhood, and stated that information about Agartha's surface version was hidden here. According to what I've learned, the secrets of that once mysterious island lie within the teachings of the people of this region today. Yes, that beautiful island, sadly, no longer exists. But right at the same location beneath the snow-capped mountains, the kingdom of its people still lives on. However, all traces of the past have been erased by the Great Catastrophe. Drawing from the works of both Alexandre Saint-Yves and Helena Blavatsky, as well as from books by Shambhala explorers like Nicholas Roerich, we can come to a conclusion. Agartha and Shambhala could be the same place, or they could be different cities within the same kingdom. This is because the legends told about these mysterious locations, their characteristics, their forms of governance, and their philosophies show a striking resemblance. There may have been only minor name changes over time. When we look at the locations mentioned in the texts, we find the Hindu Kush Mountains in the Himalayas. Geological studies conducted in this region confirm the existence of extensive cave networks beneath the earth. However, it is important to note that our technology is not yet advanced enough to explore the depths of these caves. Another detail to remember is that both the Himalayas and the Gobi Desert were once seabeds. All these findings point to a common past for different cultures and civilizations. The War of the Gods narrated in many mythologies, and the subsequent major disasters may have caused humanity to re-emerge from underground, and we may have been protected by an advanced race that lived below the surface during this process. So where are the gates, the tunnels leading to this underground realm? The Cave of the Patriarchs, or Cave of Machpelah in the Jewish tradition, is considered one of these gates. Archaeologists have found thousands of years old remains in the first layer of the cave, but going deeper is both physically challenging and prohibited for religious reasons. In Mayan mythology, an underworld called Xibalba is mentioned. The Mayans believed that divine beings lived in this realm. Their sacred book, Popol Vuh, states that Xibalba contained magnificent structures, and its entrance was located in Guatemala. An interesting coincidence, or is it proof? Near the ancient Mayan city of Tikal in Guatemala, a network of tunnels and caves approximately 750 kilometers long has been discovered. Research is still ongoing. In the city of Teotihuacan in Mexico, a hidden network of tunnels and 11 underground temples has been found. It is still unknown where these tunnels lead and for what purpose they were built. In ancient Egypt, researchers are trying to find the city of the gods mentioned in legends. According to experts, the newly discovered tunnels beneath the Great Pyramids could play an important role in finding this lost city. The famous historian Herodotus, in the 5th century BC, mentions a magnificent underground structure he saw during his trip to Egypt. There I saw full 12 palaces, all connected. Under the giant columns, there were 12 courtyards, sectioned off. It's hard to believe these could have been built by humans. All the walls were made of white marble, adorned with fine craftsmanship, and giant columns supported the ceiling. Right next to the enormous structure, there was a 75-meter-tall pyramid covered with animal motifs. It took me to the pyramid through an underground tunnel. It said these tunnels stretch all the way to the pyramids in Memphis. Another historian, Strabo, who lived 500 years after Herodotus, also mentions this underground structure, but doesn't provide any information about its location. Today, we don't know where this mysterious place mentioned by Herodotus and Strabo is located. However, the newly discovered tunnels beneath the Giza pyramids give us hope in this regard, because Giza was formerly known as Rostau, the mouth of passages. In Jainism and Hinduism, the ancient religions of India, an underground realm called Patala is mentioned. According to legend, Patala was covered with precious stones, forests, and lakes. Its air was filled with sweet scents and music. It was believed that beings called Nagas, half human, half serpent, lived here. The Nagas were guardians of physical and spiritual treasures. They could transform into human form whenever they desired. Naga legends are not unique to India. They also exist in countries like Sri Lanka, Cambodia, Indonesia, Thailand, and the Philippines. These cultures believe that Nagas trained kings and helped humanity progress. So why were these creatures depicted as serpents? Here, we need to recall the information Alexandre Saint-Yves gave us about the double-tongued nature of the Agartha people. Some experts believe that Nagas, with their physical characteristics and their origin from underground, might symbolize the double-tongued people of Agartha. Our research on Agartha and Shambhala suggests the following. Deep within the earth, in the most mysterious regions of the world, there may be a hidden realm. Almost all societies, from Native Americans to Asian cultures, have legends about this mysterious realm and the people living there. I hope this video has encouraged you to conduct more research on Agartha and Shambhala. Please leave your comments if you have anything to add or ask. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and share it with your friends. I'm Ethan Godfrey, and I share a new video every week. Subscribe to my channel for more videos unveiling the hidden realities of history. Take care and see you in the next mystery exploration.